Again.
Wanted to be a part-time. Really small.
Okay, going to call the meeting to order. We're going to change the agenda a little bit. Would you all rise to the Pledge of Allegiance?
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start with the roll call of the seating members, starting on my left.
Mike Boyle.
Maureen Steer.
Larry Brown.
Bob Carrier.
John Catwick.
Lou Snyder.
Stan Nato.
Thomas McDougall.
Okay. Great. Quorum is present. Would you introduce your staff, Mr. Terzi? Speak loud enough because sometimes it doesn't pick up everything.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to thank all of you for your time this evening. With me I have Nathan Castle, our financial manager. Scott Currier is our principal at Newt. Doug Kilmister is our principal of Milton Elementary School. And Kevler is our director. We have Bob Adams, our facilities director, and Tim Eldridge is our transportation coordinator. Those are staff.
Okay. Doug, would you introduce your board members?
I'm Doug Shute, school board.
Timothy Long. Paul Steer, school board.
Rena Banks, School Board.
Okay. Thank you. Now we're here to present the proposed school budget for the fiscal year 2016-2017. Has everybody got their book? See, they all do. Anybody have a chance to look at it? Probably not. Mr. Terzi, would you go through the general items for now?
I'd be happy to, Mr. Chair. Thank you. So in the first page of your book, we tried to highlight some of the general items, and I'll go over those, and then I'll go through some of the remainder of the booklet with you. But your general items this evening, just keep in mind that the proposed budget excludes any additional warrant articles as well as the SAU expense. Support staff salaries are based on a 7% increase. The district's contribution to health insurance for support staff decreased 10%. Health insurance is based on an increase of 2.8% over the 15-16 rates, and the premium holiday is not included in the budget figures. There's no change in dental rates for 2016-17 from our current rates. Unemployment rates increased 15.7% over 2015-16 rates. The retirement rate for teachers, there was no change to the rates, but I want to mention that they're 15.67% for teachers, and for support staff is 11.17%. Workers' comp is based on a 2-year actual average plus 5%. Property liability and auto insurance is based on the FY16 amount plus 5%. And we also, we took out the Bright Beginnings costs for the program. It was originally in contracted services, and we put it into its own line. You'll see that in the 1200 function when we get there, just to make it more transparent as to the cost for running the program. And then, as we did last year, there was a line in there that's titled Transfer for Grant Expenditures. This line represents our anticipated federal and state grant expenditures of $441,704. This line is in there in accordance with the gross budgeting requirements, and just always keep in mind that this line is offset by federal grant revenues of the same amount, $441,704.
Okay.
Those are our general items, Mr. Chair.
Does anybody have any questions on that transfer for grant expenditures?
No, but
Yeah. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
it has to do with what he stated. Premium holiday credits are not included. Could you get into more detail on that? What it represents and so forth?
So what we've had in the past from our health insurance provider is what's known as a premium holiday. And we get a credit at the beginning of the fiscal year, potentially to offset our billing costs for our health insurance. That's based on a reimbursement from from our health insurance provider because of a pool of monies that go to other districts as well. That amount of money has decreased over the years. So in the past, we've budgeted our health insurance costs with anticipating that we would get the premium holiday, which would lower our costs. However, we're not anticipating a premium holiday coming to the district for next fiscal year. Therefore, our budget costs do not include that anticipated credit. So it raises your anticipated cost for those health insurance. So it's actually a substantial jump in your health insurance costs if you look at a comparison between this fiscal year and your proposed budget for next year.
Okay, Mike.
Hey, Mike, we look at the retirement rate for the teachers at 15, 67, and the support staff. How is that created? And is it in school negotiations? Is that how that works, or is that just like a contracted price that can't be changed?
Yeah, that's an uncontrollable cost to us. That rate is set by the state through the
Okay.
retirement system.
Okay, thank you.
So we have to wait for that each year to determine what that rate's going to be. Fortunately, it didn't change this year, so we're not.
Remember, so I'm asking for clarification. Why was it contracted before, but now it's not?
That's a great question, Linda. And in the past, I should say currently, Bright Beginnings teachers and the support staff are considered SAU employees because we pay their salary out of the SAU. However, they work solely in Milton. Therefore, in order to be more transparent and clear with the program, they are now going to be considered Milton employees as of fiscal year 17. Therefore, they were originally in contracted services because the SAU would pay their salaries. Milton would reimburse the SAU out of contracted services. So as for fiscal year 17, they'll become Milton employees paid out of the Milton operating budget as a salary line.
Okay.
So we wanted to break that out, and then if there's any questions about what it costs to run that program, it's easier to break those lines out, and you can see specifically what the cost is.
Okay, and with the withdrawal, make it easier on us.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else on this page? Okay. Move on to the next page. You got your regular education.
Yep.
Want to go down through that?
Well, we started this last year. Basically, the next 2 pages just gives you the highlights, the notes for each individual line as to some of the reasoning or some questions that you might have for each line. Sort of consider this the cheat sheet. We started this last year, so you can just refer back to this sheet that breaks down by function and object code for some specific lines that there are some adjustments within those lines. So we might refer back to this sheet as we go through each function, Mr. Chair, but it's for your convenience to have these notes all in one place.
Yeah. You want to go through the budget, or you want to go through here? Because I got questions in here that I've already seen. You know, I've gone through some of this already, but maybe for the benefit of the rest of it, you want to go through the whole.
However you'd like to tackle it.
Yeah, because I have a question on the first one. First
Okay, so
2 lines.
how do you want to do it? You want to go through the whole budget, or just go on this cheat sheet?
No, I think if anybody has any questions, we ought to ask about this and then go on to the budget, if that's okay.
Larry?
The phrase topical summary sounds better than cheat sheet.
Okay. Yes, Lou?
Can I ask this student assistant counselor, is that, I'm not trying to say a person, I can't remember the name. Is that the one that there was a grant for the job and now it's completely ours next year? Is this the job, not the person?
Yeah,
I'm trying to say it politically correct.
that's correct. The first year, it was a 3-year grant. The first year grant, the grant picked up 100% of the salary. Last year, we rolled in 50% of the salary. in anticipation that for fiscal year 17 next year, we pick up the other 50% because the grant will no longer be available. So we broke it out into 2 years of picking up 100% of that salary.
Okay.
Can you please talk about that position a little bit and why it's so important?
We originally received a grant from the Department of Health and Human Services, particularly to address substance abuse within our schools and within our families. And we had hired a position, it's a counseling position, it's called a student assistant counselor. This position works specifically with students around substance misuse, as well as topics such as depression, suicidal tendencies, and so forth, as well as does family outreach to the families of students that might be suffering from some of these issues that could be causing some health concerns. So that's the purpose of the positions. This position specifically works with students that have potential addictive types of behaviors, as well as currently suffering from addiction or depression.
Okay. Anybody else on this line?
I have a question. May I ask?
State your name, please.
Laura Turgeon.
Okay.
For that, for the student assistant counselor, wasn't it brought to the town or to the school board about an option that wouldn't cost the town any money for that counselor? I thought somebody had looked into state services that would actually be free to the town. They might not be at the school every single day, but the services were free.
Okay, Lou, go ahead.
To that lady, this
Laura.
is a, Laura, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I can't even see you. That's a totally different position.
Okay.
This is within the school. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm sure it'll probably come up in the budget later because it's probably a new line. She's talking about the difference between the CAP, is it, and going to the one in Sanford. Sweetser, thank you.
Now I'm following.
That's what she's talking about.
Okay, so
This
you
is
have
a
multiple
totally
counselors
different,
within
this
the
is
school.
totally different, okay?
Thank you.
Not trying to be a know-it-all, I just go to all the meetings.
Ann, did you have your hand up?
I was just gonna.
Okay. Larry?
Policy.
Is we currently contract with community partners to provide counseling services within the middle, high school, as well as at the elementary school. Some budget line that we did put in, Mr. Brown, for this current fiscal year. And there's been discussion with the school board as to potential other services. However, this sort of ties into what we consider wraparound services for students and families. This would be another service that would be provided to students when it comes to counseling needs.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Are there any new lines to this right here? For this year, new line items with regular ed, special ed, other instrument programs?
What we're going to do, Mike, I'm staying on the regular education until
Okay.
all that is exhausted, then I'm going to go down in line, because that way they would keep it in order.
Okay.
Because I still got one here. I'll get back to you on
Yeah,
that
no
one.
problem.
though.
Yeah, good.
Okay, because I have one myself here is the transportation lines were moved to transportation function. I was looking at that 543,002 through 3003, and somehow when I looked on the page 1, it doesn't, the other line that I'm seeing here that affects that is 55,140 that is not budgeted. And I was looking at the 4,300, and it's only go to 2 and 3, but the other 4 lines below it showing no, nothing in the budget. Has that been moved, or is that a wrong line number?
Yes, what we've been trying to do over the past couple of years is really put the monies in the function where they should be, in the sense that in the past, we've had transportation monies for field trips in the regular education function. And so this year we said, why are they there when they should be in the transportation function? So you keep all of your transportation costs in your transportation function and not spread them out throughout the budget. So we moved lines from the regular education, the 1100 function, into the transportation functions, so that all transportation costs are associated within one function. So that's
Okay.
why you see zero out on those lines in the 1100 function. Mr.
514. That's 2 through 303. That's why I was a little confused, because the line numbers are not the same.
Yeah, the reason why they're still in this budget, the 1100, because we can't remove those lines out of this function right now because we're spending out of those lines currently. And if you remove them out of our ADS system, then we're removing those lines totally, which means that we can't spend out those lines. So you'll see in fiscal year 18's proposed budget, those lines will not be there. We couldn't remove.
Here, that's all. At 140 shows that they are taken out, but there is money being taken out of it. It just, it was the, lost track of it here. 54,300 lines. It was just 2 and 3. That's why I was wondering which one numbers are we working on?
I understand, Mr. Chair. That's a typo. We'll have to fix that.
Okay.
It should read 55,140.
Okay, that's what I was trying to refer to, because it didn't match.
Apologize for that.
That's okay, it happens. Anybody else got any other questions on regular education?
I do.
Yes?
On elementary contracted services, AmeriCorps services, it's up $14,000. Can you give me some detail on that?
Yeah, what we're proposing is to contract with AmeriCorps. Are you familiar with AmeriCorps?
No.
This is an organization where up and coming potential educators as well as community service providers sort of they earn their stripes to begin working. And districts can contract with AmeriCorps to pick up, basically match the cost for 2 AmeriCorps service members. These are people that come into the school 5 days a week, all day long, that work specifically with students to mentor students, particularly those that are at risk or struggling, as well as to work with students that might potentially be struggling in reading or mathematics, just as a small group, not necessarily providing direct instruction, but working with them as a mentor and as a role model, if you will. So this $14,000 covers 2 AmeriCorps members if we were to match the funds with AmeriCorps.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions? Well, I do have one more here. It's middle school.
Pretty dilapidated. we originally, in the proposed budget for this fiscal year, had 2. We took out 1 for this year and only purchased 1 this year, and we're hoping to purchase the other one in fiscal year 17. Those are those rock-solid workbenches that the students are doing all their carpentry on, as well as all the other trades that they're working through the shop.
Okay.
That might be a good project for them to work on, to build one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we looked into that, Mike, quite honestly, and some of the specifications around that, and the wood.
A fine
that's required
education,
for
right,
it.
Mike?
Yeah, absolutely.
Larry?
Yeah. As I think I remember, these are roughly 4 by 6. They come built with 4 woodworking benches at each corner, plus the rock maple surface, provision for woodworking dogs underneath, plus tool storage underneath, and probably GFI circuit for the tools built in on a leader. Yes.
Potentially, depending on what bench you decide to purchase.
Yeah. So they're
We were
not
looking at the high end like that, Larry. What you're referring to are very expensive.
Yeah, but they last 50 years. Or 40.
Okay, anybody else on regular education? Let's go to special education. Well, I got questions on that one. It's, we'll start off at line 53, 230-1, elementary contracted services. That's been reduced to 80%. That's not that speech line that we ran into last year, is it? The one that the day before, the teachers.
Oh, no, that's not in
It's-
this.
So, okay, that's a different one then. Okay. And I guess I'm gonna stay on it. Anybody else got anything? Okay. Middle contracted service, again, unanticipated PT and BC and VA costs previously covered by IDEA. I really don't know anything about that.
I can explain that. If we have a student that comes into the district that might be unanticipated, enrolling into our student, and they're required, PT stands for physical therapy.
Okay.
And the BCBA is specifically for behavioral support systems. So the student would require the additional physical therapy as well as the behavioral support. So those costs are in our operating budget, because in the past, our IDEA grant would cover those costs, and it's no longer covering those costs. Therefore, we have to provide those services. Therefore, we have to pay for them out of our operating budget.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Larry?
Given the small size of the district and the tremendous swing that one student requiring multiple services coming into the district can either bring or take somewhere else, are you comfortable with what the final resolution of special ed costs will be at for this year?
For this current
For this
fiscal
current year.
We'll be speaking with the board in our next meeting around some of our current encumbered monies that were unanticipated. So, however, our proposed budget for FY17 is covering the anticipated costs at this point. To answer your question specifically, I'm never comfortable with the 1200 function because it varies and it's a gamble year after year.
Anybody else got any questions? Mike?
Could you, the middle special ed tuition public and the high special ed tuition public, how do the mechanics of that work for the promotion of that? Going from promote a student to high school, and then from middle school probably going into high school. How does that mechanics of that work?
When you look at the specific lines, you'll see a reduction in the middle school public tuition line, but you'll see an increase in the high school public tuition line because that's
Because you're taking that student from there and putting them into the high school.
That's what that reflects.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm trying to do simple math here and quick, but on the Bright Beginnings, we're breaking it all out down to health and everything else, but where is it showing me where goes to zero?
You would look at elementary public tuition. I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier when I said contracted services. Lou's question, it was elementary public tuition that the Right Beginnings was originally in.
And what line number is that?
Let me look for you. See that is 1255-610-1. You're close to halfway down the page.
55, 610.
-1, elementary sped tuition public.
Okay, so that's the 180,000 that's in parentheses,
Correct.
as are no longer wanted for that, in that line. So if I add up all this other stuff that now is broken out, is it still 180 or is it?
Okay. Improvement of instructions. Operation and maintenance.
Well,
Go
in
ahead.
operation and maintenance, it shows here, 2610, 5310-1, and 5310-2. It shows 2 snow blowers. Now, are they sharing the cost of one, or is that 2 individual snow blowers?
It's one snow blower, and it's split. We split the cost of the snow blower between those 2 lines because it's shared.
Anybody else?
That snow blower is in there at $2,376.
Must be one heck of a nice snow blower.
Needs to be rugged.
Is that 2,300 on each action, or is that the total
Total.
price? Okay.
Okay, and I got one here. 54-110,
310.
plus 2. That's operation maintenance water. Can I ask the district commissioner, is this going up 15%?
Everyone.
They only budgeted for a plus 3%.
I can't speak on that. You have to talk to them on the reason why. They know.
Well,
Yeah, when we originally put this together, we didn't have the 15% that was set, so it's set at 15%.
Well, it's nothing set yet. We're in the process of doing it. But Bob called me last week and got some input from me, and I said 15%. It seems to be a valid number to run with,
Okay.
but we don't have nothing that's 100% set. Granite State Rural Water is working with us on that right now.
Right.
So,
We could adjust that line to reflect the anticipated 15%.
okay, all I did, wanted to know if everybody's gonna be hit with the same thing, because it threw me off when I saw 3.
no, everybody's the same.
Okay,
I have a quick question. So when do you think that will be finalized, Dan? Any idea?
It's all relative to how quick Granite State Rural Water can do their formulas.
Oh, it could be a couple of weeks, it could be a month, it could be...
Oh, it's gonna
6
probably be at
months.
least a month.
Okay,
I mean, we're not planning to have another meeting to speak on the subject for another 2 or 3 weeks, so.
okay. All right, thank you.
all right. The other questions I have is 56-230, operation maintenance, gas, and I'll also throw oil as well. What are we paying right now for this? What are we paying for less than gas? Because
It's right in there. I read it.
you may not see it there, Reds.
I read it, Bob, it's right. There's a letter from Irvin.
Yeah, we do have that, but the only thing is I'm
209
looking,
for gas, and what was the,
209 for heat.
208, sorry, and what was the,
124.8 for
224.8 for propane?
124.8.
124.8 for propane.
So
Okay.
why are they up?
what I'm looking at here is the, what is this, 2015, 2016, what are we paying? That's why I was asked what we paying now, because here it says for propane, $1.84. And for 2016, it was predicted to go 2,002 cents. I just currently want to know what we are paying now. I've got the last year's book. That's what I'm looking at because this is the predicted cost. For 2015, it was at 184. Is that what we're paying on this year's? You're at
For
disadvantage.
propane?
Yeah.
So our current cost is $1.24.
That's contract cost, right?
Okay,
So
so,
remember when we put together that budget that you're looking at, we didn't know what our locked-in cost was gonna be based on the contract, so it came in lower than we had anticipated when we built that budget.
okay, so did the oil went down as well? I get 319 for 2015.
We're fortunate.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know because I was comparing, Lou.
So are you gonna lower this to reflect the new price?
We based that specifically on a 2-year average actual plus 5%.
Why wouldn't you base it on what the contract states? I mean, if you got a contract, it's in black and white, there's a commitment, why would you base it other than what the agreement is?
Because it ends in September, so we don't know what our rate's gonna be from September on.
Okay? You don't burn any oil, speak of, if you fill the tanks up and at the end of the contract, you're not gonna burn hardly any oil before beginning of the year, right? So, I mean, I'm kinda lost why you gotta go up at all. I agree with Lou on those two things. If you got a commitment,
At least flatline it.
I apologize, I guess I'm a little confused because we won't know what our cost is when it comes to the heating season for FY17. Because our contract doesn't come in until September.
Okay,
So we know what our cost can be if we fill the tanks at the end of this heating season.
Right.
However, this budget reflects our potential costs for the next heating season.
I understand.
I mean, it's a
see, if you overfund it. You're still gonna be spending, you're still gonna have a line item for more money than what it should cost you because of the contract.
But the cushion that you're referring to is something that would potentially go back as surplus to offset the tax rate. So we don't have that cushion as of July 1st. So even though we have a savings this year because we anticipated a higher rate, we show the savings in our current expense reports. But that doesn't give us a cushion for fiscal year 17 because those monies go back at the end of the year.
Lou?
Those monies don't necessarily and if just saying happen, which is different from gas and oil. So I still would like to say, can we level fund this?
Well, we're not doing any cut tonight.
No,
We're
I
not
know,
doing
but
none of
I'm
that.
just trying to,
It's already under what we did last year. So level funding it would raise it.
what do you mean?
It's reduced from what we projected this year. So it's already under, you're saying it flatlined it, but it's already under that
If you look
level.
at page 13, last year budgeted fiscal year 16, the 17 is less than what it was budgeted for. So if they level funded it, it would go up.
Yes.
So then your explanation in the front.
Now, is this amount with the added 3%? You reduced it and then added the 5% or 3%?
The 5%, so with gas and fuel oil, we took our two-year actuals, averaged them out, and then put 5% on top of that.
Then I don't know why you would say that, say it that way, because you've reduced it. You see what I'm saying? It's, to me, you took that, and I'm sorry if I was wrong, but that's the way it appeared, according to the way it's written here. Right?
All
Right,
set?
John?
Let me take a shot at it from a different
Point of view?
perspective. 20. These are all fake numbers. You've got $1,000 of fuel oil, and 2 years ago it was $2 a gallon, $2,000. This year it's $1 a gallon, 1,000 gallons, $1,000. You saved $1,000. It's not in your pocket. It goes back at the end of the year. Next year, the price goes up to $2.50. And the argument is, because you saved $1, you should really budget for $1.50. But that $1,000 is not there. Correct? However, the 15% raise in the water bill will be there. So maybe if you leave the water bill at 3% and raise the heating oil, you come out even.
Well, just
Anybody? Anything on special transportation? Well, technology services. I do have one here. This is line 57,340. Replace equipment. I guess technology lease option plan. This year's budget shows that we have it for $500, and fiscal 17 goes up to 75,000. What is changing here?
What we recently presented to the school board was a technology plan which included a 3-year computer replacement schedule. We currently have so that we can computer equipment. So So we took a current inventory, looked at the most outdated computer equipment pieces, and those would be the ones that would be replaced first, and then the next 2 years would be replacing other equipment that would be older as we move along. So it's a 3-year leasing option. The first year is at $75,000.
Okay. Larry?
That, for that projected lease, I presume that this would be what I would call portal-to-portal maintenance costs, that maintenance is included.
Yes.
Upgrades that come to the machine in question during the terms of the lease would also be upgraded as part of the lease. And is there any negotiated residual value to the equipment which gets turned over for a second generation lease?
So to answer parts of your question there, with the lease agreement, it covers all costs for particularly any repair. The equipment out. Current technology requirements within the school so that they can be upgraded, and you can determine what your costs are going to be year after year for replacing that equipment compared to a spike in a purchase, having a lot of old equipment kicking around that you might need to dispose of. So I see a lease as a effective, efficient, and economical way of purchasing computers.
Okay, Larry.
And by definition, e-waste is never your problem. Next, same topic, different question. 3D printer.
Wait, we're not done with, you have, Ann's got her hand up there, we're still on the,
What?
changing the subject.
Are you changing the subject?
No, this is technology.
Technology.
Yeah, but we
Equipment that computers that are 5 years plus older.
I have a question on the lease. Is that for all schools or just one particular school?
It's for both schools.
For both schools? So we're gonna spend $225,000 for roughly 300-something children for this lease? If I go by what you're giving us here for enrollment, you got the high school, Newt at 178, and junior high at 112. And those are the two schools you're talking about?
In the elementary.
And the elementary. Okay, I'm done.
Are we, Lou, is that for lease?
Let
or-
this lady ask a question.
Yes.
Annie McKenzie. I just want to know, how many computers are you purchasing, and are they, I presume they're laptops?
It's a combination of laptops and desktops, as well as tablets, particularly tablets for the primary grades.
Okay, so how many are you getting of the different ones? Just so we have a sense of how much we're getting. Okay, give a list. Oh, okay, okay, I see it right here, okay. So you're getting 22 staff faculty laptops, 57 student use computers. So those are those laptops too? Or a combination?
That's some things we replace.
Okay.
Could I have your name again? So I didn't get it.
Are you looking on this?
Annie McKenzie, probably, yeah. Okay.
Annie McKenzie.
Okay, Annie McKenzie. All
And we have
right.
another woman in the back.
Yeah.
Laura Turgeon, you guys are gonna love me by the end of the night. Did we, I mean, are there grants that we can apply for to have some stuff brought in? I mean, do we need, I mean, are we looking at high-end laptops and high-end tablets? Are we going with iPads and MacBooks, or are we going with Windows machines that are a lot cheaper, you know, or Chromebooks? You know, what are we looking at when we're, you know, spending close to $300,000 on a lease?
Doug?
Well, to purchase, it's $231 for the first year. To lease, everything we want this first year is the 75 for everybody. The $231 would have been for everybody.
Okay.
So we are better off to lease because we just roll them out. We're not responsible.
Gammon. The laptops now.
So the elementary students need tablets?
We're looking specifically at tablets for your primary grade, your kindergarten, and your first grade.
And again, my question is, do kindergartners need tablets to learn? My child didn't need a tablet to learn.
We see it as it's promoting 21st century learning skills in the sense that students are accustomed to utilizing tablets as well as the wealth of information that comes through a tablet. And then from there we move more into the Chromebooks, which is a more economical version of a laptop for open source computing. So there's sort of the tablet specifically is focused on the primary grades for the software that's provided.
As a parent, I'm concerned that bodies.
Go ahead.
Andy Rawson. On this specific line, is this the way that we've bought computers in the past, or have we bought just, you know, computers outright, or did we lease them in the past, or?
It's always been a warrant article, right?
No.
I don't
it's
believe
on the
so.
plan.
I can answer that.
Yes.
In the past, what has been utilized is grant monies, specifically the school improvement grant, which allowed us to purchase a lot of computers at one time. And now those computers are outdated and those grant monies are no longer available. There was a question asked earlier, are there grant monies available to purchase computers? Those grant monies have really dwindled over the past 5 years to the point now where they're really not providing grant opportunities for technology. The big
Oh, wait a minute, I get Tom.
Sorry,
Okay,
to
Tom,
speak with my
go.
back to you.
Where I work, we lease computers. I can't stand it because they take my computer every 3 years, but that's just me. I'm trying to understand how, if I heard you correctly, you're only replacing basically a third of the computers the first year. Was that right, or are you replacing everything?
No, we're not replacing everything the first year. We're basing it on how old the computers are. So the first year, just as Anna mentioned, is from 2011 or older.
Okay.
And we'll move to another bracket the second year.
Okay, so it sounds like that, okay, we've got $75,000, $76,000 this year. Next year, it may be you're appropriating
correct. And then
So whatever it was at the end of that is, okay, we're leasing, so now we're going to be sort of stuck with this payment unless we decide to buy the computers out as they come off lease for $1.
That's correct.
And then you would expect it to decrease.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Wait a minute, Larry, you've been waiting.
We turned our television set off in 1978, so I'm not a good model for technology, but still had a question on what I thought was related to technology leasing. Does this include access to 3D printers? Is that planned, and would that be on a different line if planned?
It's not included in the lease. It's not planned, and it's not budgeted for in another line.
Is it available through a technology center off-site from another venue?
I believe our high school students that participate in CTE programs at the schools would have access to that depending on the program.
Yeah, go ahead, Larry.
Same question. I am an information collector. Can you direct me to the study that you cited for early a toddler?
Yes, yeah, I'll get it to you after.
Okay.
They may go bad after 3 years, but the majority of them do not. So this lease scares me totally as a taxpayer, because once we get to the 3rd year, then it's ongoing at that rate forever. And that really scares me. And the man that was talking at the school board meeting said that the price he was going by was retail. And I just don't understand why a school with a bigger, we're going to be buying more, would be scheduling that at a retail rate when even if you could save $100 per machine.
You were researching this. I'm assuming that you figured into the cost and the time how much an average computer in a school system, which certainly the usage amount would be different than my computer I have at home that only I use, that there's X number of hours that it's in use and then it's shut off. Whereas a school, I'm assuming the computers are pretty much used all day. Have they done a study to give an idea what the average lifespan of a tablet or a laptop or a mainframe type situation, so that we have an idea of what the turnaround would be on these computers, which I think may help alleviate some of the questions?
Yeah, we based the numbers off of our service provider, Back Bay. They're the ones that come in, they maintain our current equipment, they do all of our infrastructure and networking within the building. It was the owner of Back Bay that researched the prices of the equipment necessary, and leases for schools run on an average of 3 years. They don't, because of the warranty based on those pieces of equipment. If you extend the lease out for 3 years, you're looking at potentially losing the warranty of that equipment, but for the most part, the lifespan of a computer within the school system is around 3 years for a lease. So we were basing this off of his expertise.
Anybody else? Ann?
You did ask back say till it's a 4-year lease or a 5-year lease, but like Mr. Tracy just said, we would lose any savings in warranty.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, your name, please.
Brett McKenzie. I'm just curious what the difference in cost was from the potential lease that we currently want to enter into and just purchasing these machines outright. Just because I know there's the repair costs as well, what the current repair costs usually would be. Because if the cost is lower to not lease these, why don't we just buy them and throw them away at the end? I mean, because it seems like a lot of money to be spending on just computers.
Yeah, your first year to purchase them outright was $231,000.
Yep.
Purchase the equipment out, compared to the $75,000 for the lease. The second year would be an additional $66,000 if you were to purchase them outright, compared to the lease at $21,000.
Okay.
And then the third year would be an additional $35,000 to purchase them outright, compared to a $10,000 to the lease.
So the lease goes down 10 times.
Right. So your cost savings is substantial between purchasing them.
Really,
And
the lease
that's
goes up.
75,000 per school.
No, that's your total.
That's just your total.
That's your district total.
Just your total. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, when you're just hearing it written, yeah.
Yeah, but if I may, I think he,
Well, okay, go ahead.
just to be clear, the base is a 75, and then next year it goes up 75 plus what it goes up. Then the third year is what it was plus another goes up 10,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's always the base plus.
Oh, base plus.
Yeah, I knew you didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Tough to see on that, yeah.
Right. So,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So with the lease, the first year is $75,000. The second year for the lease is $21,000. So your total lease cost is $96,000. If you look at purchasing them outright, your first year of purchase is $231,000, and your second year is $66,000. So that's close to $290,000 to purchase things outright, compared to $96,000 to lease in 2 years. So you're looking at a $200,000 savings over.
The second year after you purchase them, is it, where does the 66,000 come from? Is that repairs?
Nope, that's replacement of equipment. Again, your cycle of replacing older equipment.
Okay. So you're taking, I was just going from the, you were buying everything that first year,
No,
just
no,
231.
sir. No.
That's the.
It's a
that's
3-year
the
phase out
That's
of
the
old.
3-year plan as
Correct.
well. Okay.
So we phase out old equipment instead of purchasing or leasing all of the equipment the first year.
So may I ask then, if this is a phase out of equipment and it's a perpetual lease, then how the first $76,000 or $77,000 that we spend for the first round of computers, laptops, and tablets, how many years is that going to be? And if it's for 3 or a 5-year lease, then can we anticipate when we turn those in that price to go up because technology has gone up?
I don't say so.
No.
She's right.
The proposed
You're not gonna get
lease
nothing from it.
program brings you out to year 3 at approximately $107,000.
Okay.
And that's your anticipated cost for year 4 as well. So.
But then when we start turning those back in and getting new ones, because you're gonna turn them in and get new ones, is our cost gonna go up because the technology goes up?
The way it's been presented to us is that cost stays consistent over from going from year 3 to year 4.
Well, what about
And
year
that's a
5 is
replacement.
what I'm asking.
And also year 5.
So how long
We would have to
are we
negotiate
keeping these
things.
computers for? We're signing a contract that says they're not going to raise their leasing prices on us even after we change in the new old equipment? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm saying that we would look at a 3-year lease and then have to negotiate a new lease cost for the 4th year, or 5th year, or 6th year if we want to do another 3 years.
Right.
So you're locked in for the 3 years. However, the 4th, 5th, or 6th year would be a negotiated new lease program.
Okay, that's what I was just asking. Can we anticipate our price going up? We're
Yeah.
certainly not going to anticipate our price going down.
I'm not sure.
Okay, let's make this the last question, because I think we're beating it to death here. Go ahead, Lou.
But as we sign, if we sign the lease, this will be ongoing forever, basically, because my understanding was it was going to go on forever. Every 3 years you turn in, so there'd be another new lease. It would never be a year off or 2 years off. That was my understanding at that meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct. Again, you have an opportunity to make that decision at the end of the 3rd year.
Okay.
You're only,
Decide not to.
you're only committed to 3
I-
years, so you can make that decision at that time depending on what your budget looks like.
I know, but we as taxpayers need to be aware of that, Mr. Torresi, really.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Everything's on record. Larry, you
Well,
got
it is
anything?
now.
Thousand. No.
We
With that statement got voted down, then we wouldn't be able to buy any new computer equipment for the school next year, even if we needed it really, really bad.
Well, you got a $751,000 proposed increase in the budget. That's a lot of money to the taxpayers. Extreme amount of money. I think 75,000 is a good point to start, good place to start, and let the people start making the decision rather than putting it all into one budget. Let them, the town does it with their warrant articles. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You got to tell the people what's necessary. I mean, I think it should be one.
$5,200. Why it's such a drastic cut?
Looks like we had moved those to the 1100 function.
Okay.
Okay, 610. Bob?
Bob Ann's got a question.
Yes, Ann.
I just wanted to correct something you just said, Stan. If you take the grant money out of consideration that we are including in that final $9,900,000 number, our increase for next year is $309,452.
Okay.
It's not 700.
Yeah.
That's what you have right here in front of us, $751,156.56.
And that includes the money that.
Okay, which we did last year. We had that in the budget last year also.
Yes, and
Okay.
if you take them out of both, the increase is
But you,
$309,000.
why would you want to take it out of both? So even
Compare
300.
apples to apples.
Well, even $309,000. That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
You know how many people are upset now with the tax bill they got this week?
I'm one.
Taxes. I agree. Now, I want to try and get through support services. Anybody got any questions here?
Just for the record, and Nathan can probably say it more accurately than I, but municipalities, school districts are required to use generally accepted municipal accounting practices, and there has to be a gross budget, which is a statement of dollars actually used, irrespective of the source. Thank you.
Okay. Nothing on support services? Food service? Okay. Does anybody?
I've got a question.
Okay.
Right, but we started with the food service program last year. Before we started with that, our deficit every year was between $70,000 and $80,000. After the first year, we brought the deficit down to $50,000, and it's supposed to get a little bit smaller every year.
Okay. Does anybody want to go through any of these budgets at all? You want to go through any of these budgets? I mean, I was just going by the highlights that he had up here. Anybody want to go through any of them? Is there any lines you have any questions on?
Personally, I think it's something I have to sit down and cross-reference. There's so many lines that moved, and make sure that the monetary figure's the same. And I don't think that's something you can do in the next hour, so, yeah.
There is one thing I want to.
Away.
Your monthly expense report.
Yeah, is that the year end? Thank you for that.
That's it right
Just so everybody knows, I had asked Mr. Tursi to give us the year-end budget, so we would know exactly what the final numbers were, and he was gracious enough to do that. And I want to thank him for the spreadsheet, because it's easier to follow it that way. Thank you very much.
Okay, the one I'm looking at right here is the Milton School District, the member. School care medical rates. This is totally new to me. As,
What page?
That's the health insurance, right?
yes, it is, but this is something I've never seen. You got two columns here. The
What
first,
page?
there's no page number on here. It's somewhere
Way
in the back. Yes, right after the teachers' wages. They got the traditional plans, and then they got the consumer-driven plans. That's the monthly billing rates, but then you got the monthly effective rates. They both got the same dates on it. One is cheaper than the other. I don't have a page number. It's right after the salaries.
Oh, keep going. This is what it looks like.
They got different colors. Blue is open access, formerly POS. Green open access, formerly HMOs.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
What you want to focus on that chart is the green open access, the traditional plan.
Okay,
That's our current plan. And you see the 2.8% is what we budget.
okay.
Because
So
that's based on what our monthly bill comes in at.
Okay.
That's what the monthly billing rate reflects.
Okay, so
So
this
the
one,
other are just plans that they offer, but those aren't plans that we participate in.
okay, so just this first one, yeah. Okay, that's easy enough then.
So we do the blue plan?
No.
No, green.
Green?
Can
It's
I
the
ask
one.
why we don't consider some of the other plans?
We will be doing that in the future, by all means,
As in what future? As in?
as in proposal for fiscal year 18.
Okay. Any more other questions? The only,
Please tell them that. They don't understand that that's negotiated. That's negotiated when you do a teacher contract. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but they can't negotiate that with the teachers at any other time than when they're negotiating the teacher's contract. That's why he said 18,
okay.
because we got the 3-year contract
That's right.
now. So that negotiation is closed.
Okay. Yeah, Tom, I'll get you up here.
I hate to get into this kind of detail, but on, let's see, page 12, I'm looking at line, let's see, it's the elementary phone. We can pick that one. Both the elementary phone and Newt, they're both like $5,000 higher than last year, and there appears to be quite a variance across looking from 14 to the 17 budget. What's the reason for? I would think phone line would be something to be fairly constant, or is there something else in that that?
The reason why we're out.
Doug, you have something?
On that medical, why 2018 is so important to everybody, even the employees, is the Cadillac tax. That's if it goes forward. That's what they're gonna charge you,
Yeah.
the government's gonna charge you a fine at a certain rate for total premiums that you pay for single family. And that's 40% above and beyond what they've set. That can be a lot of money for even a municipal or a school district. And we are looking at it.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at it too. Okay. After Dan, I'm sorry, you're over there. If you were sitting here, I could see you.
Just back on the health insurance a little bit, because I know we do it a little differently than the town does as far as the teachers are concerned. Our health insurance plans, we pay 95% of a single right now. And then for the 2-person and the family plans, we pay 80%. But I believe the
Place. It's page 12, under 2610-54-200, snow removal. It's been zero all the way up until the 2017 proposed budget. Is that because of the snow blower, or is that the hours to run the snow blower?
No, Mike, that's, we had to add those monies in because last year we had unanticipated expense for shoveling the roof because of the increase in the snow load. So we're anticipating that cost again. So that's what you see as new lines in there for snow removal.
I see.
Okay.
We had to contract that out for the amount of snow that was up there.
Anybody done? Anybody else?
A lot of reading again.
Yes, there is. Ann,
Do we want to talk about the 7% increase on the support staff for a minute?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because there is a reason behind that. For years, our support staff includes our para-educators, our bus drivers, transportation, and secretaries. Okay, and for years and years, they have been coming to us, asking us to look at their salary scales, because their salary scales are quite low compared to other school districts. And we've had to always say to them, we can't do anything because we're paying 100% of your health insurance. So we put together a subcommittee this year, and we were looking at the benefit packages for all of our support staff. And we've come up with a 3-year plan to get the employees to a point where we're paying 80% of their insurance and they're paying 20%. But to do that, we did have to address the salary issue. So next year in this budget, the employees would be paying 10%, the year after another 5%, the year after another 5%. But we did have to address the salary issue.
Okay. Lou?
Okay. My question, usually it's a 2% raise. Is this a 5% salary adjustment with a 2% raise? Is the 7% to stay for the 3 years? Are you saying that everybody gets the 7% over 3 years? The other part of my question, sorry, I got to think all at once. What about there are paras that got their steps, and I'll call it steps or years, outside of Milton? They don't get a raise until they complete that same number of years in Milton. Does that include them in this?
What we did is we took the salary scale itself and adjusted it 7%.
So that's everybody.
Pardon?
That's everybody.
We adjusted that 7%. Next year, they'll move up a step, and they'll also get the step increase. And we took away the longevity. I believe, Mr. Turvitsky, is that correct?
The board didn't vote on the longevity.
Okay.
For the first
But
year.
in the budget.
So that didn't clarify me. Are you proposing a 7% raise for 3 years, or a 7% adjustment for this year to start bringing them up?
And so they'll just move up as
Okay, so
it's not 7, 7, and 7. It's a one-time. We've adjusted the salary scales.
Oh, okay, that's what I was getting at, and I didn't know the way it was said, if it was going to be like a 21% raise over 3 years.
This ain't a contract. This is this fiscal.
I know, but I need it clear in my head.
Okay.
Thank you.
And the cost of 10% of their health insurance is, I think we figured to be $1,056, right?
Yes.
Per person?
Per person, out of their pockets.
Now, are you going to allow them to get family plans, since like the paras only get a one-person plan now?
Right, we don't offer to contribute to the 2-person or family plan for any of the support staff.
Okay.
They just get the individual plan.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Well, this pretty much concludes it.
I'm sorry, I have one question. So for the 7% increase in their pay, is it going to be higher than that $1,000 that they have to pay?
It's going to vary.
It's going to vary because everybody's at a different step. We did go through, and I had a couple, like one person is getting a $1,400 raise, but we're taking $1,056 of that. Another is just getting a $1,241. So it depends on the person. There are a few people that'll probably just breaking even.
Well,
But aren't they ones that have been there a long, long time and that are getting the biggest raise?
Getting the biggest raise.
Well, the ones making the most will be getting the biggest raise.
There's somebody in the back.
Yeah. Go ahead. Then your name, please.
Kristen Rice. So if a parent chooses to not take the health insurance because their spouse or partner covers them, they still get the 7% raise. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, yes, we are adjusting the salary scale for everybody.
That was my question. Thank you.
Okay, Andrew.
Yeah, Andy Russell. Why don't we put this on a warrant article and let the voters vote on
Thank you.
a raise like this? We gotta do it with the town, you know? Just throwing it out there.
I think we're trying to address the issue of the health insurance and to protect the school district from future increases in health insurance. We know we need to start passing some of that cost on to the employee, but at the same time, we have to address the salaries because we have been keeping them low because of the insurance.
We also have the same problem in other departments in this town.
That's
Yeah.
right, right. And really, to be honest, even at 80% that the town is paying for their school or for their insurance, it's still a lot more than most very large billion-dollar companies pay in insurance for their employees. And, you know, and the pay is really not a whole lot higher. I have to pay 70% of my medical insurance, and it's not even remotely close to as wonderful as the town of Milton gives to their employees.
Tom, you had a question?
You mentioned that part of the salary was to bring more equitable pay scale in addition to offsetting the.
Right.
How did you do a study to see how much? I'm assuming you did. What the difference was? Can you give an approximate percentage of, for a comparable school district, how far down were we? How far up were we?
Off the top of my head, I can't, but we can bring that to the next meeting.
I'm just curious. It's, if it was we're all 5%, 10%, 20%.
Didn't we starting pay for paras in Milton off the top of
The
your
gentleman way out back.
Russell Neal is my name. I'm kind of a big
Healthcare is going to skyrocket.
when you're talking about controlling costs, but what's the bottom line? It's going to control
I gotta wait
costs.
till he's finished.
They pay very low co-pays.
I believe the net increase for our budget this year is gonna be $46,000 on the salary lines.
And then next year,
You got a
Hold on, I might have it with me. We can bring that to the next meeting as
Okay.
well. I'm not.
Doug.
Well, but really what this is doing is it's preparing you for 2018. If you that's what down to that 80-20. That's why that's important, because if we don't do it, we're gonna get hit with an unbelievable bill, and nobody's gonna be happy with that one.
No offense, Doug Shute, but I'm having trouble swallowing the 2017 budget, never mind getting me ready for the 2018 budget.
This is part of it.
And my concern is too, is when Wakefield pulls out of the SAU, we're going to be stuck with the entire bill for the SAU, which is going to bring our school budget up even more, and our tax rate even more. And it gets to be a concern as to whether or not we can continue to afford all of this. And we need to be thinking about that too.
Okay, we have to wait on what happens for the elections next year. We don't know what's going to happen there.
Well, hasn't Wakefield already decided?
They have
put it out?
decided, but they have to vote on it. The people in the town have to vote on it. They may decide maybe this is not such a good idea. We have to wait. We don't know that for sure. the voters will have their word for that. They got all their approvals, but it's still going to be the voters that's going to decide whether they're going to move out or not. Somebody else had their hand? Are we done with it? Yes.
So Scott Martin, I got one general question, right? And I apologize since I do not have the budget in front of me, line item by line item. But have we done a cost analysis as far as what the projected total budget is, the number of students that we have, and the cost per student, and how does that compare overall to other SAU districts within New Hampshire? Are we 2x, 3x, 4x higher? Are we on par?
We don't have it.
I would like to understand that analysis.
I'm not sure either.
I had
I
a
don't
form that someone had given me, we're right around the 75% percentile in comparison with other towns of our size.
Just finished.
There's 569 total students as of November 5th, 2015.
We don't have the cost per student here.
Of course, now, there's also the additional cost of any warrant articles and SAU. So you can't get your total number by just doing what I think you're trying to do.
Doug?
What you gotta realize that the cost for the elementary, the middle, and the new are different. You gotta find that your high school's gonna be the highest, and you're gonna have your middle school and your elementary. And I don't have those figures. Ledger.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, Tim.
All of this information is available on the computer. Just do a comparison of New Hampshire schools.
So everything I found was roughly based in 2012.
Is if you
Okay. High. Is there any place that we can take down? Because this is really high. I haven't had a chance to go through it, but I think maybe the
Mr. Chairman,
committee.
can I comment on the 7% rate increase?
Go ahead.
You know, I'll tell you, it couldn't come at a worse time for you to propose that. You know, we've been working for almost close to a year to try and do something with it. I know it's not the school budget, but it's reflecting that. Try and get a decent wage for those highway guys down there. Guys are making $12 to $13 an hour. I think we're down like three employees now. The last one anymore. Offices, and next was the highway. Well, I'm not a philosopher, but I'll tell you what, I fear that we're going to go into a default budget because of this, and that's sad because the highway department's never going to get their share of what they deserve. Like I said, it's just bad timing. I'm sorry.
I don't know what to do about that.
And the town's not gonna get a new fire station with this either.
Well, I guess that's going to be up to the committee if we can find something, but, or maybe the school board. The SAU budget is in here, forgot to tell you, they got new numbers in there, their default numbers in there as well. The ones I sent you are wrong, they're in this budget in the back somewhere, so.
Bob?
Yes.
Just
I believe
And I'm sending my kid to St. Thomas for 12.
Oh my God.
They taking children in?
And they'll take all you want.
Well, the only thing I just,
That the interesting observation that St. Thomas is, I trust, a private education.
Yes, it is.
Can you,
Excellent
could you
school.
advise me as to how many special education students they have? How
So
many
they
children
probably
with
have
behavioral,
none.
excuse me,
Okay.
how many people they have with severe behavioral consequence management issues? How many children they have with just common, ordinary, garden variety behavior
Oh, they
problems?
have people with
Well,
behavioral issues.
And
this is
And
a-
their
yeah,
parents
yeah.
pay for them to
that
go to school.
I-
okay? Extremely high. I quickly glanced on this and I'll have to study it more, but I'm not sure. Larry?
That, yeah, the topic is the SAU budget, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What comes into both the Wakefield and the Milton budgets are structural costs, which include administration as required by either the state or federal government, the costs of operating the physical plant, the costs of transportation, the cost of special ed, and the cost of contract obligations and fair payment for those paraprofessionals and support staff in the district. At disaffiliation, the requirements for a single budget, I believe we will stay 64, that will not differ that much in terms of the structure that is required to oversee the operation of the special ed budget, to oversee the operation of each division of the school in principal for the elementary, for the middle, and the high school. For the, to repeat myself, I think for special ed costs, for the review of those grants which do come in to the district, which must be monitored and accounted for. So I wish Wakefield well for finding out what their incremental costs and their incremental savings will be. But when we did the disaffiliation for Milton, there was, I think, we were looking at costs that would come to us of an additional $200,000 because of those structural issues and dealing with the same number of students in the buildings that we were responsible for. So that's
But at
just information.
$200,000, that is another 50 cents per thousand on top of our tax rate.
Okay, Larry, that's enough for now. Okay, we're done. We've done this. Okay, the only thing we can do here is we're going to have to look at the budget, and hopefully the school board can look at it and see if there's anything it can do. Because between this and the town, we're going to have a real good time with this. I really don't. I just glanced at this. It's going to be very difficult because I would say over 70% of the cost are salaries. It doesn't leave us very much of anything else. And there's contract services in here. There's going to be very little that we can do with this. From what I have observed real quickly on this, I haven't really got into it very heavy, but I was looking at the salaries. They're about 70% of the cost. Doug?
Bob, your next meeting is gonna be the 8th?
Yes.
December?
Here.
Okay.
Yep, I think the people need to see this. They have to get a better understanding. Tables will be set up the same way. I'm not gonna let them go out. So, yes, Andrew.
I can't tell you how many phone calls I've gotten this week, okay? We have to be careful with these budgets. you know, the elderly that live in this town is up to 20% possibly. That's the number. And we have to be careful. You know, we don't want empty houses, all right? And the taxes that are, they're just going up and up and up. We were very careful with the town's tax, the town side of the taxes. We don't even have a colored printer in this building because we voted it down. And, you know, we just have to be careful.
What we have to do, Andrew, we need revenues in this town. This is what we need. We need to get businesses in this town. This is what it's gonna come right down to. Otherwise, we're going to be going to.
If we keep taxing to death everybody.
Okay.
And Bob.
Yeah. We'll meet next week and we'll see where we go from here, okay? If you can look at it, maybe.
Are you sending this back with a mandate?
Yes, if you can find something in there, but I think it's gonna be an awful lot that you're gonna have to take out.
Okay.
I didn't check to see how much the increase was, but I know even 10,000 doesn't bring down the percentage. It takes a lot to bring the percentage. Larry?
Yeah, would the chair and the school board note for those who may be watching what the dates of the deliberative session are for each part of the town and school?
The school can give it to you. I don't have it for the town yet. We haven't set
There's a
this.
man in there with a question.
Yes.
I don't, without having it right in front of me, it's $500. Line item, it's been hidden. Right, you look at transportation, you kind of make the assumption that's the cost of getting kids to and from school, and you got to do that. You really don't have a lot of choice there. But if there's 25% of that is field trips, and I don't think it is, but it's hidden in there. So, and I understand, for maybe it makes it easier for, you know, somebody that deals with it every day to have it there somewhere. It makes it very, very hard for the layman that is expected to come and make an intelligent vote on it at the town meeting to really vote and to think about it, because it's hidden. You see transportation, you think transportation? Oh, that's the cost of taking kids to school. But really, it's the cost of, 10 trips to California, which we know is not true, but it could be.
What you would have to, Mr. Terzi?
Just to address that concern, we have field trips as an individual line in the transportation function, so you know what the cost of the field trip. We don't have any transportation salaries, so we can maintain what that cost would be, and you'll be able to see it within the budget.
Excuse me, did you have an extra one of these books? You got another one? Maybe. He won't. The counter right by the land use and leave it there, and I'll send her an email so everybody can look at it when they're at their discretion.
Yeah, it's very hard to follow these things without a copy, it really.
Yeah. Done.
Put one in the library. And probably not one if you got any extra copies.
About the,
Newt's library.
okay. Nathan?
I have 3 copies here, and I have electric copies, so if anybody wants to email me, I'll be more than happy to send it.
Okay, if you would probably give out your email address.
Sure. And we'll be posting it on our website as well.
Oh, okay.
One of the first run with the budget committee.
Did you guys hear that in the back?
Yes.
I think they need to see the budget, and I think I'd like to see the town do the same thing. If they can put their budgets on there too. The only thing is, you want to download it, boy, it's going to take a while. That's a big one. I did it once before, and it took a long time to download all the pages.
But if they can just look at
Yeah.
it, Bob, it's really a good thing because you can study it and become more familiar with what everybody's talking about.
Yep. It's a good idea. Okay. Now what our mandate is, I want everybody to look at it. See if you can find something. Doug, if you can find someplace, but it's gonna have to take a lot to bring this down. Do what you can. I mean, like I said, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room in here. On the first glance I saw. So the next meeting, Lou,
Can I just ask a quick question?
go ahead.
Have you guys considered taking out the buyouts? Either you take it or you don't on the insurances.
You risk that costing more money in insurance lines.
Have you considered it?
And not in this budget cycle, we haven't talked about it.
Okay, just so you know that if they don't take the insurance on a single, then they get a percentage of that, and it's called a buyout. So, just be aware of that.
Okay. I guess we're all done our budget session. We're going to go into our regular session here. So if anybody wants to stay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes, November 24th. Did everybody have a chance to read them?
Yes. Stick around, we got more stuff.
Still in.
No, I want to be more negative.
What's that?
As,
You want to give me something?
Well, they get control here.
Can you tell me where to go?
They get control, everybody's talking, he's talking, there's a...
Brandy.
No, we got a meeting going on.
Oh, I'm sorry, never mind. I'll see you a week from Wednesday.
if we wanted.
Hey, look at this.
Thank you.
Larry.
Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown, I'd like to get this meeting, I want to get it going. This whole meeting is something else. Put that in there.
People, we got to continue our meeting, please.
Okay. Okay, anybody got any omissions, any errors?
Thank you, everyone.
I read them, I
Folks,
didn't
the
see
active
nothing.
meeting is still going on. If you have any comments or discussions, you can take them outside.
Please.
Gentlemen,
Please,
the active meeting is still taking place, please. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, though.
Yeah.
I read them, I didn't see anything that
Anybody
jumped out.
Yeah. Did anybody see anything?
I will make the motion to accept them as written.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, Stan, you motioned it,
Yeah.
and Larry, you seconded it?
Yep.
All right. Okay, next on the agenda is members' comments.
I would have, like to discuss with you, as you know, I sent you an email this week in reference to the town default budget. You did send out, I don't know if, I'm assuming everyone got the numbers?
No, what it is, you got that one column, okay?
Right.
'cause-
But you
that-
sent out the backup support numbers.
I
right?
sent them out
Right.
to everybody,
Right.
okay? And you probably printed them out.
I did, but I have to get them lined up.
Yeah.
I think we need to look at them and see if we think everything's accurate, or
Okay.
if there's something in a line that shouldn't be.
Did everybody get the email I sent?
We don't. That was more than what the budget was budgeted for. So that would still go into the default budget because it's an uncontrolled cost.
Yeah.
We have no way of knowing that without seeing those numbers,
Well-
utilities and so forth.
Well, all that's gonna be on there,
Right.
every bit of it. I've already started working on it, but I can't send it as a worksheet because I don't think it works.
Oh, that,
It works for me, but if I send it out, I don't,
I mean, we can cross-reference it, it's easy enough to do.
that's what we need to do.
All right, and I don't think we even have to have it set until they do their, what do you call it, they commit money at the end of the year.
Yeah, the
Encumbrances.
encumbrances.
Because that will give you the final tally.
Yeah.
All right, so we really don't even have to have the default number cut in stone until after that point?
It's going to, they're going to give it to us. We don't have a meeting with the selectmen for, I just don't have a date set.
Okay,
for
but I'm
that.
just saying, I want to speak on the subject because I think it's important that we go through it.
Yes.
Line by line and make sure that we agree or disagree with each line.
Yeah. I've already talked to Liz this morning, no, this afternoon. Gonna put those numbers side by side. I may even put my figures in there as well. And I've already started doing it, but I wanna make sure we're on the same page, we got the same numbers. So when the time comes, when we meet again, that will be one of the topics.
Okay.
As well as the warrant articles. When I come in the next time, we're gonna go through the warrant articles and the default budget all at once.
Okay.
Okay, I haven't decided anything because it looks like we're gonna be working quite a bit on the school budget.
Time will tell.
Okay, that was your member's comment. Anybody else?
Bob, just to say this out loud, and you were saying that your increased budget was $300 some odd thousand dollars.
309.
It has been the history of this town, that the school, everything always passes for the school. The warrant articles, the budget. So we're potentially looking at the $650,000 increase again. It's been the history of this town. Just sorry, it had to be thrown out there.
School is kind of important. I know that door shouldn't be closed.
I just wanted to cut the noise down. I couldn't
Okay, you
hear.
still, okay.
They're all out there talking.
All right.
Yeah, but there's a sign saying meeting in progress, do not enter, doesn't it?
It's right on the top.
Not no more.
Well,
Okay.
there goes your photocopy budget.
Yep. No color either, so.
No more members' comments?
That,
Larry?
I got a comment. Okay, Larry's first.
John, go for it.
Go for it, John.
Yeah, it's more towards, I think, Ann, and I don't know whether you're gonna answer the question or not, but, like everybody's been stating here tonight, it's really getting to a stage where not only the elderlies, but even the middle-class people are confronted with probably more than they can handle to live in the town of Milton, so. And I think that it's all due to not what a system supplies, but I think it's a lot to do with the technology and the everyday inflation that we see. And the reason why I say this is I look back and I took a look at 60 years ago, back when basically my wife graduated from Newt High School, and she graduated with a class of 40 people. And I don't think there's been a big change in that number in the last 60 years. So you have to say to yourself, what's going on? And the only thing I can pinpoint is technology and inflation, but I may be wrong.
First of all,
But to the other point too that Andy mentioned earlier, he's not the only one that people are calling. I mean, because I know I'm involved with town. It's really unusually bad this year since the new tax bills
everything
come out.
passed last year.
I know
That
they all
tax bill
voted on
came
it. You're
out,
right.
and
It was
we all knew that
majority
was going
voted
to
for it.
happen.
Right.
The press release that came out from the selectmen was somewhat incorrect. It said because of the $682,000 increase to the school district, that's one of the reasons the taxes went up so high. But that did not take into consideration that $300,000 of that was grant money, so it can't be attributed to the tax rate. So last year, our increase was just under $400,000, and this year, we're asking for another
But
$300,000.
didn't the DRA agree and set it at the school tax rate, so that's what the tax are? And it's based upon that $650,000.
That the number is correct, but you forgot to include the offset.
But you can't include that.
No,
Your tax, raise and appropriate 682.
I think what she's saying is prior to last year, we never included that grant money in
Right, we
there.
never included it in. It was
That was not in the budget. Last year, we started putting that in the budget, so that money right automatically went up, that spike. I think that's what you're trying to say, right?
Yes, exactly.
Well, I mean, that's still, it's raised and appropriated, so, yeah.
Yeah, it is raising appropriate, it's still tax money, it's still everything you're saying, but
On paper, that's what it looks like, but that's not the reality of it. It was only
But you can't keep on going, asking for 300,000 every year. It just can't.
You know, our teachers are our biggest cost, salaries.
Because you're gonna be right back in the same thing. People are already calling me and pushing me to getting the kids go to some other high school.
Okay, well, you know what we can do? We can sit down and go line by line, and then you guys can tell us where to cut, because what do we have to cut this year? We could possibly cut the student assistant counselor, but, you know, how bad is the drug and alcohol problem in this town with teenagers?
Yeah, that, No Child Left Behind, you're right. It goes along hand in
But
hand.
it's bad in every town. I mean, every town's
Okay.
got a figure for it, you know?
Trouble is, we're getting out of hand.
Yeah, well, I
Just-
didn't finish, so I'm sorry that
Go ahead.
it got out of hand, but, you know, as you all know, I did a study a few years back, and at that time, I did a 9-year study, and when it comes down to tax revenue, the school system takes 51% of it average. And the rest of the money that you get is from grants and whatever.
This next year we'll be getting that package, 441,000 from grant money.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, that's, it's kind of a hard thing to go down through this list that we're confronted with, which is really a critical list that we got, that's for sure, but, you know, the output is the same as it was, like I said, 60 years ago, and it's all to do with technology. You know, do we want to, you know, we talked and beat up this software packages and this technology services. I mean, you know, do we want not to do that, I guess? And it's going to boil down to the people walking the voting booth, and it's going to be either yes or no. And like people said about the fire department tour coming up, we're not going to have everything we want.
Last year we got everything we want. This year we're not.
That's it, I'm
getting
done.
anything.
All right, now let's sort this out. Larry, did you have anything?
Yeah, two things. One just came to mind. In 1960, I could pay for an entire semester of community college on 2 weeks' salary working at my uncle's apple farm. Tuition was $9 a credit. Things change for inflation. What I wanted to read, if you have seen it, Foster's print. This is an article from a guy by the name of Peter Somsish, S-O-M-I-S-S-I-C-H, who said, our state is a great place for high earners to establish a residence since we have no income tax. It's not a coincidence that we are the 8th wealthiest state in the Union. Unless we're willing to reduce the local services we depend on, our towns and cities have 2 ways of generating revenue: the tax rate and the property assessment. The state of New Hampshire sets the tax rate, and since the towns and cities do not have any significant way to generate revenue on their own, they have to make sure the property values together with the tax rate generate enough revenue. That's the way it works. If you don't like it, you can have to change reality, convince the majority of residents we need a more fair tax system. Other states do things other ways. We are the 8th wealthiest state.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah. And I believe that article started out by saying, Larry, not to blame the towns and not to blame the school districts. This is New Hampshire. We don't have a sales tax. We don't have an income tax. We have property tax. And until that changes, or until we bring more revenue into this town, this is what it's going to be every single year.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, public comments. Okay. This is to be passed down. Okay. The next meeting is going to be Tuesday, December 8th, here at the Town Hall, 6 p.m. That takes care of that. Now, this is old business on the Water District. Did everybody get the 2014
Not in the packet, you just passed out, Bob. But you did send it by way of email.
I did, but what is, I printed it out just in case somebody needed
Well, you
to.
passed us out extra 2015s here.
12-8.
Okay, I got 14s right here. You got the 14s?
Yeah, you just gave me the 2014.
You got a 15 right here.
I have both.
Oh, you have both? Okay.
Yeah, both, I got 14s right here.
Okay.
Just printed it out. Okay, Stan, I have not done enough homework on this, but this page right here where it says SUR
Yep.
says some of it, so.
Yeah, that you got, I don't know why she sent you that. I will explain to you what that is. As everyone knows, we did the repair on the pipe on Depot Pond Road. That was $45,000 just to, this is extras because we ran into ledge.
Okay.
That was, if you read it, it says they're requesting a change order, and it shows you what, for hoeing, because they ran into ledge, and this is all what it costs us. It costs whole ram removing ledge, it says right on it.
Yes.
So it costs us almost $13,000 additional dollars to, for that project, just because we ran into some ledge. Now, all this money's not affecting the budget. This is coming out of our capital, CIP, article money, that's how we call it. Capital Reserve Fund. But, to let you know, the Capital Reserve Fund has approximately $95,000 in it. Now you're taking almost 60 out of it, so there ain't gonna be much left in there.
Okay,
But that, and Nick will tell you, he was there, he saw the ledge. I mean, we wouldn't be paying for it if we didn't have to, but we didn't want to, but, I don't know why you got that, but just explain why you got that. I mean, that's what
Well,
it is.
I thought it would be helpful because.
Yeah, you're welcome to see it.
Yeah, because I did see the pictures.
Yeah.
And she was gonna give them to me, but you guys, you needed them for that night. The pictures of with the ledge and everything.
Oh, well, they had to use it for the permits. But yeah, everything's there. As you can see, there's a reduction in the revenues. Multiple reasons. One, we've lost some major water consumers. We lost one laundry place that was down the street over the last few years. The Dingling Restaurant, the Citgo Station. What else we lost? There's a few places we've lost that are some of the major players. We've lost money on property that the town has taken. We totally lost every dime on them. Now the town is not going to be using us for water in the ball field, so that revenue's gone. So you can see the revenues are dropped off. The budget itself has hardly changed. And this year will probably stay the same.
Okay.
I mean, the bottom line, might move some stuff around a little bit to make the numbers right, but they're probably going to be pretty much the same number.
So.
But you can see that there's not enough revenue to justify the budget, to support the budget.
So that is tacked on to everybody, even those who don't use it. Is there any way to reduce that budget?
What are you going to reduce it by? As you can see, we don't have no extras. We also have another problem this year. We have people in bankruptcy. We had to hire a special bankruptcy attorney to handle that, which is a lot more money than the standard counsel. Yeah. So, I mean, we have to protect the interests of the... We have one, and I can't use names, we have one person that won't let us shut out, won't pay any water bills, and refuses to let us have the property shut the water off because she's in bankruptcy. And we try to explain it to her. That only covers the water bill that she put in her bankruptcy over a year ago. No. And she refuses to let. So we got a bankruptcy attorney working on that. It's just a nightmare.
Okay. Larry?
There's a fascinating device invented for plumbers, which is a nitrogen cuff, liquid nitrogen, which will freeze.
It freezes, yeah, but you gotta get down to the pipe to do it.
No,
all right, so if you can't get down to the person's supply line, because it's on their property, you're not gonna freeze the main and shut most of the people down off,
What is a 4-inch under drain that they found?
A 4-inch under, I don't know. Oh, let me see what they have here. Where does it say 4-inch under drain? That's the 4-inch under drain pipe. That's what they supplied. It's something that had to do with that when they got into the project, they had to add to it and needed or whatever.
And it says an existing 4-inch under drain.
It says 4-inch under drain. I don't see existing. The last line?
No, second.
Second
line.
An existing 4-inch under drain was found.
Well, I wasn't aware that I know that. Have you ever seen how they find pipes? We got a machine that finds it, plus the rods. And we had 3 people, us SUR and one other company said, okay, here's the pipe. It wasn't the pipe. When they started digging, the pipe almost went under the house. Well, pretty much went to the corner of the house. So there must be another pipe in there or something, so I don't know, there was some stuff that made us wrong on where the pipe was.
So is that why they put in the extra hydrant?
No, we wanted to put an extra hydrant for two reasons. One, the state made us supply temporary water to all the houses.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do that without putting a hydrant in there so that we could hook onto the hydrant.
Oh, okay.
All right? And two, there's quite a distance between, well, Nick will tell you, between those two hydrants, and we thought it was a safety issue.
Yeah, because the next one is up by my house.
Right.
Okay.
Fascinating.
John?
Thank you.
Yep.
I got a couple of questions, Stan, for you. I took a look at your budgets, mainly focused on 2014, and I see that what you budgeted, $330,666, in your expenditures for that year with labor. From my numbers, $324,846.
Yep.
Which gave you a balance of $5,800 for the end of the year.
Yep.
The question I have is, what was your starting balance in 2014?
Oh, I don't have that with me. You didn't ask for that.
Well, I have. Well, you can't do nothing with these numbers without that.
Well, this is what we supplied with what we asked for.
Okay.
Okay.
so
First
we
of
see that, I
all,
guess.
any overages is only an overage if you collected the money.
Yeah.
It's not. We didn't collect that money.
Yeah.
We didn't. We are going. Our fund that we put money away to pay the two big loans out of is dwindling every year. When it comes time to pay them, this last year was just enough in there to pay it. So it shows that we're not supporting. We're not bringing in the revenues. So even though the budget was $330, we didn't spend it all. Doesn't mean we had that extra $5,800. We never collected it.
No. The only thing I'm missing to put my numbers together is a starting balance, and I would like to have it if I could.
Well, I can probably.
And the other thing is, when's the last time we done an audit for the water department?
What kind of audit?
Oh, financial audit.
We have audits done by the same company the town does.
Oh, they do it at the same time?
Yeah. Not at the same time, same company.
All right.
Vashon and Cloquet.
Okay.
Didn't they just do one?
They just finished up one, yeah. Matter of fact, I'm meeting with the state this Friday about trying to, I already mentioned it to him, he wasn't too happy about rewriting our loans, see if we can get interest down on them or something.
You want
Right.
something, John? You're looking for something?
I would like to, if I could, if it's legal, I guess, if I could see what the starting balance was for 2014. And I got some.
Could I talk to, is it,
Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa Delamont, give her a call.
Yeah.
At the time I was asking for the 2013, you would have probably got that starting balance on that.
No, you gave
So
me
there's no
you
starting
gave me the
balances. He's
14
asking for
part.
a checkbook starting balance.
Yeah, that's all, you're right.
And that's not the way to look at it. Because
Well,
you're going to
maybe-
see, I'm going to tell you why. Because you're going to see, like, if you remember one year before you were on, we came because we had all this money in the bank to pay the first payment on that big loan.
Yep.
But we were going to overspend the budget because we hadn't figured it in the budget that way. Remember we had to go for that 10%?
Yes.
So you're going to see this money building and building and building, and until you see that one payment come out, it's going to look like we got all kinds of money when we don't.
Oh, I don't know, I haven't seen it, I'd like to see it, that's what I'm requesting. And if, if I can't get it, it's fine, but I can't do nothing without it to make any conclusions.
So I'm going to ask for a starting balance for 2014.
Yep.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, she wasn't doing the books in 2014,
That's
just so
right.
you know.
She just started.
Just a little, about this time last year.
I remember she didn't do the 2013.
Because it looks like as far as working to the operating budget, you're pretty close to it, most years.
Yeah, I mean, we try to keep it tight to the vest, we don't go up.
Yeah.
Maybe 1-2%, that's it. It's
Yeah.
not a big budget to begin with, compared to,
No,
Others.
it's always good to have a little money in the background.
well, that's what we're
for
problem is.
emergency, and that's
And
what
I'm
the starting balance is all
and I'm
about.
probably at fault for this, because I had blinders on and I refused to go up on the rates for so many years. And I, even one year, I didn't even charge the town for any water uses. We just charged them for the monthly bill of the meter. We never charged them what they used. That was my idea.
Mm-hmm.
It was all a mistake. I shouldn't have had my blinders on. I should have said, okay, we're not supporting the budget with the, we have the money, but we're not keeping that money level funded.
Yep.
And I was stubborn and say, no, I don't want to go up on the people's pricing, and I shouldn't have. So
That's fine, I mean,
know.
you make a mistake, you make a mistake.
Well, I tried
Wakefield
to-
did the same thing, they went up 17% this year, so.
And I tried
They're not
to-
alone being making mistakes.
I try to protect the people,
Right.
Okay, it's good.
Yeah, because our rates were real low until we had to put in that
Hold on.
The
new
meters.
well.
Okay,
Well,
yeah, I get Larry.
Oh, just just for John's convenience, when do we meet again for the town?
We don't have a schedule yet.
Okay, so when would it be convenient for Lisa to get that figure?
He'll talk to her, not tomorrow, she's not there tomorrow, she'll be
Okay.
there Thursday.
All right,
Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays.
all right.
That,
This will give her time, and I have not scheduled anything for the town because now I'm waiting for them to come up with their default budget and the warrant articles, because I just want to meet one more time before the public hearing.
right.
That's what I want
And
to do.
For John's convenience, so he's not the, a bad guy, the consensus of the board that the information will be useful.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes, it would.
Yes, okay.
I think what it is, he explained everything, so, and John seems to be satisfactory. He wants the extra number, though, and we'll get it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
wouldn't that number be in the 2014 audit?
we don't even have the audit.
Well, he's got it.
14's not done yet, they're working on it now.
Okay. Yeah, so,
They've got to have that number to do the audit, so they must have it.
yeah, I'm going to check on it.
Lisa will know.
Yeah, I'll give it to John. Yes.
Steve, you mentioned the revenue doesn't match the budget. What's the difference between the revenue and the budget?
How much we losing? Oh, how much we eating at, well, now we're losing.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Oh, right there's, oh, you don't have that, okay. In this packet, there's a thing that shows the revenues from 2013, 14, 15. And you can see 2013 was 251,000 and change, 2014 was 272, and 2015 was 264.
On a roughly $330,000 budget?
Correct. So what?
Average of $60,000 a year?
Yeah.
Over 3 years?
Well, no, because we didn't spend all the money. The budget was 330, but we didn't spend 330.
Well, the one John said was only $6,000.
Well, I'm just saying, it's still $6,000. We didn't spend all the money that I'm getting at.
No, the starting balance isn't there. You can't see what it is. It's
Well,
just what they budget is what I'm looking at for the year.
Well, you're not going.
330, right?
That's right. And then you got the year to date, what everything has been spent.
Yeah.
So it's no different than the town. We don't get the town checkbook amount.
No, people don't. I have it.
No, well, I'm saying, we don't make decisions on that, though. I've never seen the checkbook balances on the town, all the years I've been on this.
Maybe once. Lisa
I
Stewart.
never have.
Lisa Stewart one time
Yeah,
had
maybe. I don't.
trial
believe-
balance.
I don't think
We
I
used-
have.
We used to get
Again,
it.
you know, I'm requesting it. If you
Okay.
I can have it, I like it.
I will do what I can.
I got a question here. Stan, the 2015 revenue, we haven't included November, December in that number yet, right?
Because-
Because we haven't.
We
budgeted.
bill every 3 months.
Okay.
All right, so basically, the billing that went out in December is gonna be next year's, because the previous December billing was in this year.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
You're going to find
So
that those 2
this
months.
264 is what you will have collected for 2015?
correct.
Okay.
Oh, dribs and drabs are still coming in.
Yeah, but it's generally,
Yeah.
you know, it's gonna be, what, go up a couple $1,000s maybe?
Well, no, it might go up 5, 6,000, 8,
Yeah.
maybe 10,000.
Yeah, but it's not gonna go up 40,000 to make up the shortfall.
No. I don't think so. I know I got some realtors that have called and saying they want to pay for some houses that are selling that have some back bill we have liens on, to clear the liens, they want to pay it up, so might get
Yeah.
some.
Okay.
We have another gentleman that's in the,
Okay, we're pretty much going. I want to continue on.
yeah, because this is all stuff we usually go over when we go to our
Yes,
budget.
yes, we do. But the only thing is, this is the first time we wanted it because I wanted to see what was going on. Now you explained it very carefully. There's lost revenues. Now you're going to have to make up so you can keep your budget going.
Yeah.
So that's the second story of everything. Okay, is there any new business that comes before the board? I'm seeing none. And,
Is there anything after that, Bob?
yeah, adjourn.
Oh, then can I make one more comment?
Go ahead, you can.
Okay, I just, as everybody, this budget is hard to, it's long, it's hard to comprehend. Everything is broken up into 2 or 3 lines, but we have to do that because of the way that we need to submit their reports to the state of New Hampshire so they can determine cost per pupil. But as you go through, please look at the end of the function lines, and you'll find that a majority of them have gone down. Okay, one went up, special education went up $179,000, and that is something that we have absolutely no control over. The rest of them either went down or just went up a little bit. Please keep that in mind.
Okay.
Just one last question. You said the.
What's your name, please?
Dennis. That's fine. Was it stated earlier that the budget will be on the website, that we can
Yes.
download it? And that will be the SAU or the school?
I think Mr. Tercey said he would put this up so people would have it. And the SAU should go up too.
Have you done a study to show how Milton falls in line with all of the towns of similar size as far as the special ed revenue, how much we spend per student?
They keep track of that at the state level too. I can find out for the next meeting.
Just curious to see if we're spending more than other towns are, if we're spending less, I don't know. About the same?
We can get a report on the population of special ed students and things like that.
But it always depends on what they come in, who comes in, and what do they need. You never
Right,
know.
but every town's got that problem.
I know, but some have more than less.
Yeah, but
unless-
don't forget, if you get one kid that's really
Yeah.
severely handicapped, and isn't that what just happened, Dan?
I'm not commenting on that.
Okay.
Well,
That
I'm
could
not
happen.
saying who,
That could
but,
happen.
I mean, they can have to go to a court-ordered special school, and we're stuck. How much is down here at the Monarch School? That's like $80,000 a year, not
Okay.
including transportation.
And our increase with this budget as it is 3.3%.
3.3%?
Not counting the grant money, okay?
Okay. You're not far off. Okay. Motion to adjourn, unless you got something, Larry?
Yeah, on both for Ann and for Stan. If going back to the computer lease and to 3 years of water lease, at the end of 3 years of water lease, your rates would be going up probably, and the water that you leased for the last 3 years is down the drain, like purchasing a computer that you own and it has no residual value.